So, to solve an equation like this, where both sides are in the form of an exponential, we're going to use logarithms to do so. And we have options, but typically we use the smaller number as the base. You don't have to do that. It just tends to give us usually nicer values. So we're going to do that. Now, since we have 2 as the base of an exponential, using the same idea that we use to go from an exponential to a logarithm. So for example, if I tell you guys that 3 squared is equal to 9, and you know that to be true, of course, then you can write that equivalently as log base 3 of 9 is equal to 2. In which case, we see that the base of the exponential, the 3, becomes the base of the log, right? Now we can use that same idea to kind of transform this equation into a log equation. So if we make the 2 that is the base of our left-hand side's exponential, that is going to become the base of a log on the right-hand side. And so what we're really doing is we're taking the log base 2 of both sides, right? What we're really doing is taking log base 2 of all this, and then the log base 2 of all that. But what is the log base 2 of 2 to the 2x plus 3? Well, just because we know how logs work, that's really asking the question, what do we raise 2 to the power of to make it become 2 to the power of 2x plus 3? We kind of answered our own question, right? The answer to that is just 2x plus 3. And so we can kind of just pretend the 2 pops down on the other side as the base of a log. And either way you want to write it out, we get that 2x plus 3 on the left-hand side is equal to log base 2, again, the base of our exponential, becomes the base of our log on the other side, and we have of 7 to the 1 minus 3x, okay? Again, I just explicitly wrote this to really show why we can just drop down the exponent to become the entire left-hand side. You don't really have to show this step. We can kind of take it for granted from here on out. So now we have 2x plus 3 is equal to this thing. Now we can use the power rule with logarithms to take our exponent and pop it out front as a coefficient of the log. And so if we go ahead and do that, we'll have 2x plus 3 is equal to bracket 1 minus 3x, right? The entire exponent times the log base 2 of 7. Okay, now you might want to pause the video at this point and try to finish this off yourself and then check it at the end, or you can just keep following the course. Now, I'll remind you that log base 2 of 7 might be a messy value, but at least it's just a value. There's no variable in this part of the term itself, right? So you can treat this as just a number, okay? The rest of this is just going to come down to good old algebra, okay? So we'll have 2x plus 3 equals, I'm going to multiply through the bracket the same way we always do. So 1 times log base 2 of 7 is, of course, log base 2 of 7 minus 3x times that same log base 2 of 7, okay? And now, this is, again, just algebra. It looks a little different because we have logs, but again, log base 2 of 7 is just the value. Log base 2 of 7 is just some irrational number, right? So, the same way we always did when we had variables on both sides of our equal sign, let's group them all on one side, and let's put everything that does not contain a variable inside of it on the other side, okay? So I'll leave the 2x on the left-hand side, and I'll move this term, because it contains an x within it, I'll move that on the left-hand side by adding it to both sides. So we'll have plus 3x log base 2 of 7, and the same way we always do, let's move everything that doesn't have a variable component to it on the right-hand side, and so I'll have log base 2 of 7 minus 3. Okay. Now, the left-hand side has an x in both terms, which means we can factor it out. And so we get x bracket 2 plus 3 times log base 2 of 7 being equal to that same right-hand side, log base 2 of 7 minus 3, nothing changed over on the right side. And finally, we want to isolate our variable x because we're solving for x. And so all we have to do is divide both sides by this stuff inside of the bracket, and we're done. So let's do that. Divide by 2 plus 3 log base 2 of 7. Again, divide by 2 plus 3 log base 2 of 7. These guys cancel out, and we finish our solution by stating that x is log base 2 of 7 minus 3 over 2 plus 3 log base, log base 2 of 7. And we can pop that into a calculator. It'll give us some rational number, but we're done. Okay. Now we could do some efforts. We can go through some effort and write this presumably as a single logarithm. But for the effort that it requires, I would leave the answer like this. So hope this helps. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments, suggestions, please let me know, and take care.